Today I'll be reviewing Pokemon Journeys Episode 27, A Heroic Legend, Leon's Ultimate Battle. It's always nice to have back-to-back great episodes, and this episode had a lot going on in it. We had lots of new characters make their debut in this episode, like Raihan and Leon, or not Leon, Raihan and Sonia, not to mention a cameo, or I guess the appearance of Chairman Rose. We also had Ash's vow to beat Leon after Raihan and Leon's battle, and Sonia's appearance and her talking about the darkest day. And then the episode ends with Ash catching a Galarian Farfetch. I think this episode was great because everything that happened will be pretty important going forward. So let's start from the beginning and go over key parts of the episodes from start to finish. So the episode starts with Ash doing some training with Riolu, which is always nice to see since Ash can't battle as often as he used to, and Riolu's gonna need lots of training for what's to come later, and Go is playing baseball with his Farfetch. So then Professor Cerise / Sakuragi comes around and gives them tickets to Leon versus Raihan's match. So Ash and Go head to Galar and arrive at the stadium, where Ash stops and looks at the statue of the hero of Galar, which you've seen if you've played the games and know that it has a story behind it. So after that, they go to watch Leon's top 8 match. And we learn that the top 8 trainers in the Masters class are called the 8 Masters, or the Masters 8. And then we get introduced to Raihan, who's one of them. And he apparently got in right after joining, not too surprising since he's the 8th gym leader of the Galar region. And we find out that his rank is 7th, which means he's actually, I guess, one of the weakest of the 8 Masters. But the 8 Masters are still strong, considering they're the strongest people in the World Championships. But when you think about it, Raihan is ranked 7th. And that means there are 5 people in between him and Leon. So I'm wondering if these 5 people, I'm guessing they'd have to be at least Elite Four to Champion level. Maybe even former Pokemon League winners. So that would be awesome, and it leaves the possibility for people like Alon or Tobias to come back. But I only say that because I want to see Ash beat them as like an ultimate redemption. I really just want to see Ash rematch Alon and his Mega Charizard and the return of Greninja, since at the end of this episode they kind of hinted that Sobble would actually go to Go, which does leave room for Greninja to come back to Ash, but I'll talk more about that later. So after that we get Leon's entrance, and we were robbed once again because we're only getting a 1v1 for his battle with Raihan. And then Raihan tells Leon that he only entered the World Championship to end his undefeated record. And Leon just responds with, "I'm honored," and to enjoy the battle. So, and then Raihan comments by saying this won't be that kind of match. So, for their 1v1, they both use their ace Pokemon. Raihan uses Duraludon, and Leon uses Charizard. And as they're having their battle, Go picks up on the fact that Charizard actually learned some new moves, which is crazy because Charizard can use Dig now, which I'm pretty sure it can't learn. So now it has Dragon Claw, Flamethrower, Dig, and what I think he also used Brick Break or so basically Leon just has 4 different moves of 4 different types. He has coverage against any sort of weakness that might possibly show up. So things start to get dicey against Raihan when he starts to use the strongest Steel type move, Steely Resolve, which I'm pretty sure is Steel Beam, a new Gen 8 move. That aside, it knocks down Charizard, but it's down but not out. So Leon brings the power and stops both of Raihan's attacks, and then demolishes Raihan's Max Steel Strike with his G-Max Wildfire from Charizard, and then coats Duraludon in fire. It literally drowned him in his G-Max Wildfire. So yeah, the battle pretty much ends like that. Raihan should have probably used a different Dragon type. Even though Duraludon is his ace, a Steel type probably isn't the best Pokemon to use. That aside, Raihan is still the strongest person in the game, the strongest trainer in the game in terms of strength when it comes to Leon, because no one has ever taken out more Pokemon than Raihan in a battle against Leon. That being said, his record is still 10 or 0 to 10 on a losing streak against Leon, so Leon is just on another level compared to everybody else. In the games, it's also said that Raihan is strong enough to become a champion in another region, but doesn't want to because he wants to beat Leon. I think that's a pretty interesting aspect regarding Raihan that we didn't explore too much in the game, and I'm really hoping the anime does that. Them giving us Raihan and his goals and why specifically he wants to beat Leon and become the champion of this region, I think would be pretty interesting. That aside, Leon says he expects great things from Raihan because he wants to make all the trainers of Galar strong. And right as the soundtrack is playing, as Raihan says that he'll be the one to end his undefeated legend, Ash corrects him by saying he'll be the one to beat Leon and become the world's strongest trainer. Now that was completely unexpected for me. It's in character for Ash to do, but I just wasn't expecting him to say that and have that sort of declaration and vow against Leon in this moment. I just wasn't expecting Ash to have like one of those Naruto I want to be Hokage moments, but it was great to see. And I think that makes it clear that Ash going facing Leon in the World Championships, it's what's going to happen in the final season of the show. It's officially the end game, I think, of the series. I was somewhat on the fence thinking maybe the World Championships is only a part of this series and maybe Ash will do other things. But it looks like Ash is just going to balance being a researcher while trying to become the world's strongest trainer in this series. And once he becomes the world's strongest trainer, I'm wondering what's left for Ash after that. I honestly can't wait for the next time Ash battles Leon. So, Ash did do pretty good in his first time battling Leon. If I recall, it was his first time in a Gigantamax battle, an official one too. And I'm pretty sure with practice he'll do better. So this gives me even more hope for my theory that I talked about before about Ash going on a journey in Galar to train with Gigantamax Pikachu. So after that we get to see Chairman Rose, who was said to have raised Leon, but not in a literal sense, which we know from the game because Leon already has a dad. It's just the chairman who groomed him to become who he is now. I think it would be pretty cool if the anime gave us more on their dynamic and how Leon and Chairman Rose met. So I'm hoping we get more of that in the future too. Ash kind of has this long stare with him, so I'm pretty sure they'll eventually meet. And it makes you wonder how Ash is going to tie into the story of Galar, and if he'll actually go on this journey in the Galar region that I was talking about before. Because right after, as Ash is leaving the stadium, he and Go are talking about the statue, and they're wondering if it's based on Leon's supreme pose, and as they're goofing off, we get the appearance of probably the best girl from the Sword and Shield games, Sonya herself, who overhears their conversation about if Leon is based on the statue. And so Ash asks Sonya, and she tells them that it's based on the legendary hero of Galar, and then tells Ash and Go about the darkest day in Galar and how Gigantamax Pokemon were defeated by a single young hero with a sword and a shield. Then she starts asking the questions of questions like who is the hero, where did the sword and the shield go, and what link does it have to Dynamax phenomenon. Then she says that that's her work and talks about how she's Professor Magnolia's assistant and says that she's basically studying all of this as her homework. Then Ash and Go introduce themselves along with their Pokemon, Raboot and Pikachu, and she instantly falls for Pikachu and Raboot and then just starts rubbing their ears. Then Ash and Go say that they're also research fellows from Kanto. Then she gives her name, and then we get an awkward cutaway, and then Sonya's just gone, like nothing really happened. So they kind of just cut that conversation short as if Sonya isn't an important character. I can only assume it's because she's gonna reappear soon, but I guess that was a nice introduction to her aside from the random cutoff. They also did a nice job foreshadowing the darkest day and what's to come. And since they did do that, I'm wondering if Ash and Go are going to take part in the story of Galar that happens in the game. And for that to happen, they would have to travel in the Galar region more than they do everywhere else. It also makes you wonder if people like Hop are going to appear in this anime too, because he has in the Twilight Wings anime, but not this one. So I guess we'll see. So afterwards, Ash and Go wonder about the Black Storm that she was talking about and the Pokemon and the Legend of the Hero, which sounds really cool to both of them. But something I thought was interesting is that Sonya didn't confirm that they were Gigantamax Pokemon, she just said giant Pokemon. It makes you wonder if they were, like, Gigantamax Pokemon were originally just giant Pokemon, and maybe their, like, genetics got passed down so that Pokemon later on could just temporarily Gigantamax. So now we get to the end of the episode. So Ash and Go encounter some dude whose Choodle got beat up. So Ash and Go think this is interesting. We get some reused animation of them thinking it's cool. Then they discover a Galarian Farfetch. Go tries to catch it and battle it, and he fails with his Cantonian Farfetch. So Riolu comes out and Ash gives it a go. And this was Riolu's first battle, so we finally get to see the results of his training, and even Go surprised at the moves Ash can use, like when he uses the Shadow Clones, or I guess Double Team. So Farfetch uses Brutal Swing, knocks Riolu down, but Ash says he can still go on, believing in him, and Go thinks it's too much. But Go has never trained a Pokemon or put his faith in believing in it before like Ash does. And Riolu proves that Ash is correct by getting back up. And then Ash reveals some more of its training and says it's part 2, when we finally see Riolu debut a new move, Reversal, which manages to knock Farfetch down. Then Ash pulls a Goku and starts cheering for Farfetch to get back up, just so he can have a great battle and finish it to the end with Riolu. So Farfetch does manage to get back up, but then faints, and then they head to the Pokemon Center, and afterwards, Farfetch still wants to battle, so Ash offers it a chance to join his team and become stronger. And so with that, Ash catches Galarian Farfetch. Another strong member to his team, which I assume is eventually going to evolve into Sirfetch'd. But I'm pretty sure Galarian Farfetch isn't the Pokemon we were expecting Ash to get. And the narrator does some foreshadowing at the end where he says what Pokemon will Go continue to catch in the Galar region. And we see Sobble seconds after that, so it looks like Sobble will actually be going to Go, which I didn't see coming at all. I only assumed Sobble would actually only go to Ash or possibly Koharu, but I guess not. Koharu, I guess, isn't going to get any of the Galarian starters, so too bad for her, I guess. But I do still think she'll end up getting a Chikorita and a Comfey that I talked about in my other video. But Go getting 2 starters will be a first for the series. It'll be the first time a companion character got 2 of the others, 2 starters from that region, while Ash is only getting 1 or none minimum. I do believe he'll get Grookey now since he isn't getting Sobble. I think another bonus to him not getting Sobble is the possibility of Greninja returning now since he doesn't already have a water spot filled up on his team. I don't think it's too much of a stretch considering Greninja did get the most popular vote for the most popular Pokemon in the last poll that they did, so who knows, it's a possibility at least. That aside, this episode was great from start to finish. Ash making a vow to defeat Leon, and that officially confirming that that's his end goal for the series, was probably my favorite part of the episode. But let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and bye.